Chapter 8. Our great Queen, in the presence of the Lord, pleads for the hastening of the incarnation and of the redemption of man, and His Majesty yields to her prayer. The heavenly Princess, most holy Mary, had now attained such fullness of grace and beauty, and the heart of God was so wounded by her tender affections and desires, that he was, so to say, irresistibly drawn to begin his flight from the bosom of the Eternal Father to the bridal chamber of her virginal womb, and end the long delay of more than 5,000 years. Nevertheless, since this new wonder was to be executed in the plenitude of his wisdom and equity, the Lord arranged this event in such a way that the Princess of the Heavens herself, being the worthy mother of the incarnate Word, should at the same time be also the most powerful mediatrix of his coming and the Redeemer of his people, much more than Esther was of Israel. In the heart of most holy Mary burned the flame which God himself had enkindled, and without intermission she prayed for the salvation of the human race. However, as yet the most humble lady restrained herself in modesty, knowing that on account of the sin of Adam, the sentence of death and of eternal privation from the vision of God had been promulgated. A heavenly strife thus arose in the most pure heart of Mary between her love and her humility, and lost in these sentiments, she repeated many times, "O who shall be able to secure the salvation of my brethren? O who shall be able to draw from the bosom of the Eternal Father his only begotten, and make him a partaker of our mortality? O who shall oblige him to give to our human nature the kiss of his mouth, for which the bride asks him? But how can we, the children and descendants of the malefactor who committed the crime, ask for this favor? How can we draw him toward us, whom our fathers repelled? O my love, if I could but see thee at the breasts of thy mother, the human nature! O light of lights, God of the true God, would that thou descend, bending down thy heavens, and shedding thy light upon those that live sitting in darkness. Would that thou pacify thy Father, and by thy right hand, that is by his only begotten, hurl the proud Amen, thy enemy, the devil, from his height. Who shall be the mediatrix, who shall draw from the celestial altar, as with tongues of gold, that ember of the divinity, for the purification of the world, as once did the seraphim, according to the word of the prophet Isaiah? This prayer most holy Mary repeated during the 8th day of her preparation, and at midnight, being wrapped and entranced in the Lord, she heard his Majesty responding to her, "My spouse and my dove, come, my chosen one, for the common law does not apply to thee. Thou art exempt from sin, and thou art free from its effects since the moment of thy conception. When I gave being to thee, I turned away from thee the scepter of my justice, and laid upon thy neck that of my great clemency, in order that the general edict of sin might not touch thee. Come to me, and be not dismayed in the consciousness of thy human nature. I am he that raises the humble, and fills with riches those that are poor. Thou hast me for thy friend, and my liberal mercies shall be at thy disposal." These words our Queen heard intellectually, and, as in the preceding night, she presently felt herself raised by the holy angels bodily to heaven, while in her stead remained one of the angels of her guard. Again she ascended to the presence of the Most High, so enriched by the treasures of his graces and gifts, so fortunate and beautiful that she singularly excited the wonder of the supernal spirits. They broke out in praise of the Almighty, saying, "Who is this that ascends from the desert, overflowing with delights? Who is she that so attracts and compels her beloved as to bear him with her to the earthly habitation? Who is she that rises as the dawn, more beautiful than the moon, chosen as the sun? How refulgent doth she rise from the darkness of the earth! How is she so courageous and strong, being clothed in such fragile nature? How does she in her strength overcome the Almighty? And how comes it that the heavens, which are closed against the children of Adam, are thus thrown open to this singular woman, sprung from the same race?